Imagine having a conversation with a machine. Not just any machine, but one that can write poetry, generate business plans, analyze legal contracts, or even help you draft code. Now, think of the quality of your conversation with this capable machine that depends entirely on how you speak to it. That's the essence of prompt engineering, a critical skill for the era of artificial intelligence. And in this module, we're going to explore what prompt engineering is, where it came from, and why it's quickly becoming one of the most important digital skills in the world today. Let's start from the very beginning. You've probably heard the term generative AI or Gen AI, but what does it actually mean? Generative AI refers to a class of artificial intelligence systems that can generate new content. That content could be text, like an email or an essay. It could be images, like a painting in Van Gogh style. It could even be audio, music, video, or computer code. These systems aren't just pulling things from a database, they're creating new content in response to your instructions by predicting what makes sense based on everything they've learned. You may have heard of tools like ChatGPT, Claude, DALL-E, Gemini, or GitHub Copilot. These are all examples of generative AI tools, and they're powered by something called a large language model, or LLM. Think of an LLM as a superpowered autocomplete engine that understands context, nuance, and intent, at least to a degree that often feels magical. Okay, so we know what generative AI is, but how do you interact with it? The answer is simple. You give it a prompt. A prompt is just the input you give to the AI. It could be a question, an instruction, a command, or even a short conversation. For example, write a 500-word article on renewable energy. Translate this paragraph into Spanish. What's a good marketing strategy for a handmade soap business in India? These are all prompts, and here's the key insight. The better your prompt, the better the output. And that brings us to our main focus, prompt engineering, which is the practice of designing and refining prompts in a way that guides the AI to produce the most useful, accurate, and creative results possible. It's a bit like writing a clear instruction manual or giving your AI teammate a really well-worded brief. Prompt engineering involves understanding how the model interprets language, context, and structure, and using that knowledge to get the response you actually want. The term prompt engineering might sound new, but it has roots in decades of human-computer interaction. In the early days of computing, users had to type commands into terminal interfaces. These commands had to be exact. A missing semicolon could crash your whole program. Then came search engines like Google, where you had to learn how to Google better, using quotation marks, Boolean operators, and keywords. Later, we had voice assistants like Siri and Alexa, where prompts became more conversational, but still had to be carefully phrased. Now, with the rise of generative AI and LLMs, prompt engineering has evolved into a skill that blends linguistics, logic, creativity, and technical understanding. In a way, prompt engineering is the modern-day version of learning to giving instructions to a computer, but without needing to learn its machine instructions or programming languages like C++, Java, etc. Here's a simple way to think about it. Prompting an AI is like briefing a very smart intern. This intern is fast, knowledgeable, creative, but also a little naive. It doesn't always know what you want unless you spell it out clearly. If you say, "Give me some ideas for my project," you'll probably get a vague or generic list. But if you say, "Suggest 5 creative ideas for a community-based recycling campaign in an urban Indian setting targeting college students," now you get a focused, usable output. That's prompt engineering. It's like talking to a machine like a teammate where you learn to give better directions. At its heart, prompt engineering aims to optimize 3 things: efficiency, getting the right output faster without trial and error; accuracy, reducing ambiguity and hallucinations by being clear; creativity, unlocking surprising, innovative results from AI models. And trust me, creativity is a big one. You might start with a simple prompt like, "Give me 5 startup ideas in renewable energy." But with advanced prompting, you can push the AI further through a prompt like this. Now expand idea number 2 into a business plan targeting Southeast Asian markets, including cost breakdowns, key risks, and impact metrics. See the difference? Prompt engineering lets you shape AI into a true problem-solving assistant. Why is prompt engineering such a big deal in today's world? Because the speed of AI adoption is exploding. Every field, from journalism to law, education to e-commerce, is integrating generative AI into their workflows. The people who know how to use AI tools effectively will have a massive advantage, and that starts with prompting well. All right, let's make this real. Open up an AI tool like ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini. Try asking, what are the pros and cons of remote work? Then rephrase it like this. Write a debate-style argument with pros and cons of remote work, citing examples from at least 3 countries. Which one gives you a better, more complete response? Try this with different formats. Ask for bullet points, ask for a summary, ask for elaboration, ask for a persuasive pitch. Just see how the AI responds. Play, explore, reflect. Because the only way to get better at prompt engineering is to engineer more prompts. In the remaining part of this course, we'll explore prompt engineering in more detail. We'll discuss in simple terms how LLMs work. We'll discuss different types of prompts and strategies to form them. We'll go over some real-world application areas. We'll discuss what precautions to take and ensure ethical use of generative AI. And we'll discuss the future trends in this area. We'll keep it simple, visual, and practical, but it'll give you the insight you need to really start thinking like an AI master. Until then, keep experimenting with prompts. Be specific, be curious, be creative, and remember, prompting isn't just about asking, it's about asking wisely.